Welcome to Health 2660. Here we don't just talk about health, we tell the stories that heal. Now please listen to the story. My name is Franklin Moore. I'm 67 years old, retired firefighter, proud grandfather of 5. Used to be strong as an ox, or so I like to tell myself, and anyone who would listen. Truth is, time catches up with everyone, and type 2 diabetes doesn't care how tough you used to be. It just keeps chipping away. For years, I'd been watching my body slowly slip away like a sandcastle succumbing to the tide. The belly that wouldn't shrink no matter how many salads I choked down. The blood sugar that danced higher and higher with every check mocking my efforts. The fatigue that made it hard to even walk to the mailbox without feeling winded. I tried everything the doctor told me. Low-carb diets, bland chicken, endless treadmill sessions that left me feeling more exhausted than energized. Nothing seemed to stick. The numbers on the scale and the glucose meter just kept climbing. But there was one moment, one very ordinary, utterly forgettable moment that broke me. It wasn't a heart-stopping scare or a doctor's grim prognosis. It was something far more insidious, a quiet surrender. I was standing alone in my kitchen, staring down at another plate of dry, flavorless chicken breast and a pile of equally uninspired steamed vegetables. I wasn't hungry. I wasn't anything really. Just tired. Not just physically. Tired of trying. Tired of hoping. Tired of failing. The silence in the kitchen was deafening. The fluorescent light hummed overhead, casting a sterile glow on the already depressing scene. I pushed the food around the plate, with my fork, the chicken squeaking against the ceramic. And I thought to myself, quietly defeated, is this it? Is this how the rest of my life looks? Bland food, constant monitoring, and a slow, steady decline. That thought hung in the air, a heavy weight pressing down on my chest. It wasn't anger. It wasn't despair exactly. It was just resignation, the kind of quiet acceptance that comes when you fought a battle for so long that you've forgotten what victory feels like. I didn't eat the chicken. I just threw it in the trash and went to bed, the taste of defeat lingering on my tongue. A week later, fate, or maybe just dumb luck, intervened. I ran into an old friend at the park, Joseph Harris. We served together in the fire department decades ago, back when we were both young and invincible. I hadn't seen him in years, but he looked good, really good, trim, bright-eyed, full of that youthful energy that I thought I'd lost forever. He had that kind of healthy glow you can't fake, the kind that comes from the inside out. We sat on a bench catching up. The late afternoon sun warmed our faces as we reminisced about old times, sharing stories of daring rescues and foolish pranks. Then he looked at me, his eyes filled with genuine concern. "You look tired, Frank," he said, his voice laced with worry. I nodded, sighing. Diabetes. Still can't get a handle on it. Doctor wants to up my meds again. I ran a hand over my belly, feeling the familiar bulge beneath my shirt. He leaned in close like he was about to share a top-secret government conspiracy. "You still cooking for yourself?" he asked. His voice hushed. "Yeah," I said, shrugging. "Trying to eat clean, low sugar, all that." I gestured vaguely, as if the mere mention of the phrase low sugar was enough to explain my misery. He smiled, a knowing glint in his eye. "I'm going to tell you something weird, Frank. Changed everything for me. Are you ready for this?" I braced myself. Knowing Joe, it could be anything. He'd always been a bit unconventional. He continued, "Liver sautéed with turmeric and lemon." I raised an eyebrow, my face contorting in a mixture of disbelief and mild disgust. Liver. Come on, Joe. You're pulling my leg. He threw his head back and laughed a hearty, genuine laugh that made me smile despite myself. I'm serious, Frank. I know it sounds crazy, but it's not a miracle. It just helped. And when I paired it with a few other simple foods, cucumber sweet potato green tea, it was like my body started working with me again instead of against me. I didn't believe him. Not really. Liver, as a health food. It sounded ridiculous, but I trusted him. Joe was a straight shooter, and I knew he wouldn't intentionally steer me wrong. Besides, what did I have to lose? My current approach clearly wasn't working. Turmeric and lemon. Huh, I repeated, mulling it over. Sounds interesting. Give it a shot, Frank, he urged, clapping me on the shoulder. You might be surprised. That night, I did something I hadn't done in a long time. I researched. Not just liver, but the science behind it. How turmeric lowers inflammation. How lemon helps the liver detoxify. How the iron and B vitamins in liver support blood sugar regulation. There was real, legitimate research backing it all up. Not just some crackpot theory from a health guru. And the way they worked together, synergistically, it made sense. The liver, the organ responsible for processing everything we consume, needs support. And these simple ingredients, it seemed, could provide just that. I learned that liver is a powerhouse of nutrients packed with iron, B12, vitamin A, and high-quality protein. It nourishes the liver, supports energy production, and helps stabilize metabolism. Turmeric, with its active compound curcumin, is a natural anti-inflammatory. It helps lower insulin resistance, the underlying cause of type 2 diabetes. Lemon juice activates liver enzymes, aids in fat digestion, and improves insulin sensitivity. It's also a great source of vitamin C, which is crucial for immune function. Together, they work like a well-oiled machine. Not to mask the symptoms like my medication was doing, but to go after the root cause of the problem. I didn't need to starve myself or swallow a dozen different pills. Just a simple dish made with real food, eaten with intention. It seemed almost too good to be true. I didn't sleep much that night. Not from anxiety or worry. This time, it was fueled by something entirely different: hope. A flicker of possibility in the darkness. The next morning, I stood in my kitchen, staring at a package of beef liver that I'd hesitantly purchased from the grocery store. It looked intimidating. I hadn't cooked liver in decades. I took a deep breath and got to work. Olive oil in the pan, liver strips marinated with turmeric powder, fresh lemon juice, minced garlic, and a pinch of sea salt. I sautéed some chopped onions in the same pan, their sweet aroma filling the kitchen. It smelled surprisingly good, like Sunday dinners from my childhood, when my mother would occasionally prepare liver and onions. A distant memory brought back to life by a simple combination of ingredients. I added the liver to the pan, watching as it sizzled and browned. The turmeric gave it a vibrant golden hue. The lemon juice created a tangy, savory sauce. When I took the first bite, it wasn't just food, it was a decision. A conscious choice to take control of my health, to try something new, to believe that maybe, just maybe, things could get better. The taste was surprisingly delicious. The liver was tender and flavorful, the turmeric adding a warm, earthy note. The lemon juice brightened everything up, cutting through the richness of the liver. It wasn't the dry, metallic taste I remembered from my childhood. This was something entirely different. I ate the entire portion, savoring each bite. I felt full, but not bloated. satisfied, but not sluggish. And strangely, I didn't crave sweets afterward. That afternoon, sugar crash that I'd come to expect never materialized. And for the first time in a long time, I slept through the night. No waking up every few hours to use the bathroom. No tossing and turning wrestling with restless legs. Just deep, restful sleep. I didn't overhaul everything overnight. I wasn't about to become a health fanatic overnight. But I started making small, incremental changes. I added cucumber slices to my lunch, replacing processed snacks with something fresh and hydrating. I swapped my afternoon coffee for green tea, seeking a gentler, more sustained energy boost. I started using sweet potato as a side dish instead of white rice or bread, opting for a complex carbohydrate with a lower glycemic index. And something started to shift. Slowly, subtly, but undeniably. My morning bloating. Gone within a week. I could button my shirt without that uncomfortable, constricting squeeze around the belly. My glucose readings, slowly but surely, they started leveling out, inching closer to the healthy range. I told Joe I owed him dinner. He just smiled that knowing smile of his and said, "You did the work, Frank. I just gave you the nudge." It wasn't just the liver, turmeric, and lemon, though. That was certainly the catalyst. It was the combination of those simple ingredients with a renewed commitment to my own well-being. It was the small, consistent changes that added up to something significant. I started to feel alive again, not just existing, but truly living. I started walking every day, even if it was just a short stroll around the block. I joined a local community garden, getting my hands dirty and reconnecting with nature. I started cooking more, experimenting with new recipes, and rediscovering the joy of nourishing my body with wholesome, delicious food. 2 months later, I caught my reflection in the mirror one morning and did a double take. My eyes looked clearer, brighter. The puffiness in my face had eased. The belly smaller, measurably. I could see the faint outline of my jawline again, something I hadn't seen in years. Even better, I had energy again. Real, sustained energy. I wasn't napping on the couch after lunch. I was up moving, living. I walked a mile without stopping something I hadn't been able to do in years. I played tag with my grandkids in the backyard, laughing until my sides ached. I even started tinkering with my old Mustang again, a project I'd abandoned years ago due to lack of energy and motivation. And for the first time in years, I didn't feel broken. I didn't feel like my body was betraying me. I felt strong, capable, resilient. But it wasn't just my body that healed. The benefits went far beyond the physical. The fog in my head started lifting. That heavy sense of failure I carried around like a lead weight. It began to loosen, to dissipate. I felt more clear-headed, more focused, more optimistic. I started talking to my son more, sharing meals instead of just blood pressure updates. I reconnected with my brother, who I hadn't spoken to in 3 years, and we patched up some old disagreements. Food had always been fuel or restriction, a source of guilt, or a means of control. Now, it was something different entirely. It was medicine. It was connection. It was healing. I realized that taking care of my body wasn't just about managing my diabetes. It was about taking care of my life. It was about honoring the vessel that carried me through the world, the body that had served me so faithfully for so many years. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a nutritionist. I'm not selling you a miracle cure or a magic pill. I'm just a man who nearly gave up a man who was on the verge of surrendering to the slow, relentless march of disease. If that's you, if you feel like you've tried everything and nothing works, if you're staring down at another plate of bland, tasteless food, feeling defeated and hopeless, I want you to know something. It's not too late. You don't have to accept this as your fate. You don't have to resign yourself to a life of restriction and decline. Start small. Start with your plate. Maybe even start with liver sautéed with turmeric and lemon. I know it sounds strange, but give it a try. You might be surprised. It's not glamorous. It's not a secret, but it is powerful. It's a reminder that even the simplest things can have a profound impact on our health and well-being. When you begin treating your body like it matters something, incredible happens. Your body starts believing it matters too. That's what I realized. Let me tell you this. I'm 67 years old, and I feel more alive today than I did at 57. More energetic, more vibrant, more connected to the world around me. And it all started with one plate of food. One simple dish that reminded me that I was worth fighting for. I've continued to experiment with my diet, incorporating more whole foods, lean proteins, and healthy fats. I've learned to listen to my body, paying attention to its cues and nourishing it with what it needs. And while I still have to manage my diabetes, it no longer controls my life. I'm no longer a prisoner of my blood sugar levels. I'm free to live my life to the fullest, to enjoy every moment, to savor every bite. Health 2660. Thanks you for listening. We'll see you in the next video, and until then, be kind to yourself.